The northern corner of the Guayana Highlands in Venezuela, on the edge of the vast basin of the river Orinoco. We have come to film at the Acha Falls. In the language of the Camaracoto Indios, Acha means the Great Water. We approach the cliff face, a wall of water. The falls lie along the Rio Carao and have been created by a rock terrace that the river has not been able to erode in spite of the raging fury of its waters that have not abated since the creation of this dense water and wood environment. We are at the falls of the Great Water because our Indio guide has promised to show us a secret place. We follow him. He hacks out a path for us with his machete, disturbing one of the lawful inhabitants of the jungle. But there's room enough for all of us, including him. I'll show you something, he had told us, that only me and my people know about. We break through the last screen of trees and find ourselves under one of the terraces of the Acha. They, at least, don't seem to be disturbed by the incessant thunder of the water. Our guide continues the climb down, skillfully using his machete to carve a way through the undergrowth. We follow, taking great care not to lose our balance on the wet rock. You might say we are undergoing an initiation passage, a preparation for entering the inner sanctum of the great watersheds of Amazonia. Above us, an arch of ethereal spray and tempestuous forces. We are in a majestically imposing natural temple. Back in the daylight again. We have had the privilege of visiting one of the sacred Indian places inhabited by the supreme power of their world. The power they call water from the heavens. Setting out again on our route through the forests of northern Amazonia, we split up into two teams. This is to be the last leg of our journey in this corner of tropical America, to which we have been drawn by a common desire for adventure and discovery. One team in the helicopter will follow our progress on the ground. photographic coverage, both from the air and at ground level, will give us as many angles as possible for this account of our treasure hunt. A hunt for a treasure that these waters will not be able to hide from us. We are trying to compile a composite picture of this ever-changing, always breathtaking environment that includes the world's most spectacular collection of waterfalls and rapids, a liquid mosaic that flows, plays, swells, and falls from rock terraces that are 2,000 million years old. Sometimes the water that falls from the sky does not completely hide the solid rock steps that split watersheds into different levels. Here is a magnificent example, La Gargante del Diablo, the Devil's Throat. Only thin streams of water run down this sheer cliff that towers over the forest. In other places, it is the forest itself that covers the rock terraces. In these cases, the waterfall is reduced visually to a haze of white spray suspended over an ocean of vegetation. Back to the Rio Carado. At the head of the river's highest falls is the little river port of Ucaime, where we rent canoes to travel upriver. Our destination lies beyond the boiling waters of the Carao's tributary, El Rio Churun. The motorized canoes come with 2 Indian guides. Our team steps aboard. 1 local government official, 1 geologist, the cameramen, the stills photographer, our sound man, and our expedition manager, not on the best of terms with the local mosquitoes. Our journey upriver will take us into the Tepui Mountains, the area's geographical reference point. Isolated peaks of the Tepui Mountains are sacred for the Indios. El Pidio, chief of a scattered mixed-blood tribe of the Camaracotos, explained to us. There was a time when, for the Indians, all watersheds were sacred and were the home of fearsome supernatural forces. Today, that sinister spiritualism has almost been forgotten. The Indians have converted their feelings. Now, instead of being fearful of their rivers, they love them. They are no longer afraid because they are rightfully proud of their knowledge of these waters. The desire to know is, in any case, a way of honoring. And a man can be more proud of his skill than of the practice of superstitious rites. Certain superstitions still survive, however, even among the young men. Some of them still do not dare to look up at the Tepui peaks. It brings bad luck, they say. And we notice that many of them seem to make a point of looking away from the mountains. first man to explore this river, paddled upstream in an Indian canoe, was a Capuchin monk, Father Mariano de Severa, in 1788. He recorded his first breathtaking sight of the Tepui Mountains in these words: "Parecen artificiales, según lo que tienen de torres y castillo." They seem to be artificial constructions, like towers and castles. Our helicopter team moves in for some close shots of these magnificent examples of nature's architecture, soaring above the Amazon basin over 5,500 feet below. Ever since they were discovered, these mountains have been a lure for all visitors to this part of the world. Our team geologist points out the peaks we should study to understand, or rather to explain, the phenomenon that caused the highly unusual erosion that created these peaks. They are the result of the water that falls from the sky, both as rain, which continues here for 6 months out of the year, and as waterfalls and rapids that have dug out and modeled the fragile sandstone outer layer of the Tepui chain. But the water has made no impression on the mountain's inner core, composed of one of the world's hardest rocks, quartzite. During the rainy season, water floods over these rock faces. But when the rains stop, the rock reappears intact, revealing its compact nature, shining like a precious stone. Red water, white water. Two contrasting colors that are caused by the same effect in Amazonia. Stretches of white water like this on Lake Canaima, where we were astonished to find ourselves enveloped in a dense, sticky foam. The phenomenon is caused by saponite, a surface active mineral that is created by the decomposition of vegetable matter in the forest. The same process causes red water, an unmistakable feature of this environment. Thousands and thousands of trees cover every acre of the Amazon rainforest, and leaves are falling constantly. The fury of the waters in torrents and rivers reduces the leaves to pulp. It is the decomposition of this vegetable mush that creates the humic acids that turn the water red. Sometimes the color is so intense that watersheds seem like veins of blood running through the immense green forest. This particular water from the heavens that we are negotiating has, according to the local Indios, a magical source over there, on that mountain. We follow the Rio Carao towards our goal. Above us, the helicopter monitors our progress, keeping us constantly informed of our position. Our two canoes have a long way to go yet. This is where the Rio Carao meets the Rio Churon. When we reach this point, the longest leg of our journey will be almost over. In the meantime, however, our progress has slowed. The current is growing stronger by the hour. Soon, the reason is only too evident. Las Cataratas, the rapids. Our objective is the source of the water from the heavens, sacred for the Indians, and famous throughout the world because it is our planet's highest waterfall, El Salto Ángel, Angel Falls. The hardest part of our journey is still to come. We entrust ourselves to Elpidio's experience as we confront the dangers of the last 5 miles. For the fragile canoes, negotiating stretches of water like this is worse than being caught in a storm. The rapids are the result of a violent clash between water and rock. Rock that the thundering fury of the water has not been able to erode and flatten. Underwater clusters of stone make the water boil. Their presence can be detected by watching the current and interpreting the tempestuous surface movement. Here, on the Rio Carao, are the first rapids we must negotiate to reach our goal. That marvelous, unique work of nature, the world's highest falls. Getting there is not an easy undertaking because during the rainy season, this whole area becomes one raging ocean. For a canoe, the conditions are almost prohibitive. Only in this case, our canoes are sailed by men who are at home in these waters. Men like Elpidio, whom you've already seen in the stern. They run the rapids with no trouble at all. It's like being in a racing toboggan. There, we're through. We've made it. But more rapids await us after we enter the Rio Churón. Here, rock outcrops that have withstood erosion for millions of years are not hidden beneath the surface. They stick up out of the water, menacing and defiant. In days gone by, the river Indios saw a devil in every outcrop. Today, our canoe crew has no time to dwell on old superstitions. All their concentration is centered on negotiating the rapids. Any one of these rocky obstacles would smash the canoe to pieces if the crew was not handling the craft to perfection. But their performance is perfection itself. And soon we reach our destination, Ángel Falls. Film the falls from as many points of view as possible. The highest falls in the world. Perhaps this is how the fantastic cataract was seen in the magic mirror of the legends of the Camara Corto Indios. Clouds drift past the head of the falls, concealing and revealing that divine source of all waters from the sky, for always and forever. While the helicopter team prepares to film from the air, we follow 2 Camara Corto guides up to a rock terrace high above the forest, near the head of the Angel Falls. The falls are nearly a kilometer high. The water free falls for 3,212 feet. unforeseen difficulty is the air turbulence created by the massive quantity of water falling from the plateau. The Angel Falls were discovered in 1935 by Jimmy Angel, the first man to overfly this part of the jungle. They're named after him. And perhaps when he saw them for the first time, they appeared like this, without warning, beneath the wings of his light airplane. To commemorate Angel's flight, we wanted to end our adventurous expedition by approaching the falls in the helicopter, to see them as he had done from the air. Flight conditions were extremely difficult. The wind is never constant. The mountaintop is swept continuously by clouds and haze. But the flight was successful, and we brought back these pictures, which are perhaps the first of their kind. A bird's eye view of the source of the falls, where the water from the heavens is swallowed up by the rocks of the Tepui, to reappear over the stone step from where it plunges into the void. Our flight continues. Clouds and peaks are all around us. This is where the water from the sky actually meets the sky. We are looking for a canyon that has a narrow torrent in its depth. The most sacred of the places venerated by the Camaracoto Indians. There it is, a deep gash in the terrain. We'll enter the canyon and make our way up it to a point where, according to the Indians, resides the god of the water from the heavens. The Camaracotos, who told us about this place, the Kavak Canyon, offer to be our guides. We need their little boat to carry our equipment. A rope stretched from rock to rock is indispensable to overcome the current. We wade up the river that in the course of time has eroded the rocks. The air is stiflingly hot, but the water's icy cold. rushing waters carved out this long, deep, narrow passage. At last, we come to a rocky ledge from which we can gaze at a waterfall more powerful than all the others. A secret place, sacred for the Indians. Here are the roots of the waters from the heavens. Amid that spray and those mists rising from the deep canyon up to the clouds lives the god of the waters. The Indian deity of the waters from the heavens that are born here and flow for hundreds of miles to the mouth of the Orinoco, to the Atlantic Ocean, the point of departure for our expedition, over 1,000 miles from these islands of rocks and water in the green ocean of Amazonia, where, according to the Indios, everything begins and everything ends. We leave Awantepui behind us forever. A world that's still intact, but who knows for how long.
This is the real story of the leaders, the soldiers, the weapons, the strategies and tactics from Dien Bien Phu to the fall of Saigon. Battlefield Vietnam.
Friday at 8 on Channel 9.
William Butler Yeats wrote that education is not filling a bucket, but lighting a fire. At Channel 9, our members' generosity supports programming that we hope will light a fire for you. Programs that enrich and entertain, inform and inspire. Thank you for your contributions. With your continued support, we can do so much more.
You're watching KETC Channel 9, St. Louis.